I am never tired of telling the story about how Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, this book, helped me to pay attention to African literature. Hi, my name is Etefevoke. Welcome to a channel where all book lovers are welcome, and if you're an aspiring book lover as well, you're welcome. And if you just like interesting discussions about books and just really nice stuff, welcome to my channel. I do hope you stick around. I do hope that you subscribe to this channel. Just hit the subscribe button there and notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And also follow me on Instagram at etefevoke and also on Twitter at etefevoke. So let's dive in. Purple Hibiscus is on the spotlight today because I recently on Bookstagram joined this Afrocentric April Bookstore tour, and it really reminded me of how important this book is and how important African literature is. I always try to talk about African literature in my channel because people always tend to brush it to the side. And this is an African classic, not an African classic. This is a classic that I think every single person from any nationality, because that's the beauty in books, anybody can pick it up and enjoy and get the message. So I believe that this is a classic that should be handed down from generation to generation. This book is by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I said that before, yeah, and she's my favorite writer. So Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's book, this is her debut novel, and it was a recommended text for literature back when I was in secondary school. That was, I think, in 2011, 2012. So we're supposed to read this book so I can prepare for our WAEC. It's an external examination that is compulsory for every West African student. I can remember vividly how much my classmates were just we just wanted to get to the end of this book because we were really enjoying it. So this was the first time I really said to myself that African literature is something to look at because we're exposed to all sorts of books then, and there was really a heavy load of foreign books around us. We have Harlequin novels going around. We had all sorts of foreign books, but this book, it was contemporary, it was relatable, it was refreshing, it was nice. So it really made me turn my head and say, wait, you need to pay more attention to your people, to African books, because these stories are your stories. This story is something that will happen around. This story, it is reality. So yeah, that was it for me. This book is set in post-colonial Nigeria, a time where the British left us to rule ourselves already, and it was a time of I was just really taking steps to govern ourselves, and we actually debate if we were competent enough to actually govern ourselves. So there was a lot of corruption, there was a lot of confusion in the society. So there's a backdrop of Nigeria just being confused in this novel. The military took over, there were strikes in the university, there was fuel scarcity, there was hunger, there was poverty actually in the backdrop of this novel. And the story is told using a first-person narrative technique. However, Kambili, we see the story through Kambili's eyes. Kambili is our narrator. She held our hands through this book. Kambili is the daughter of Eugene Achike and our narrator. So, Kambili in her narration took a zigzag route in telling the story because the story is divided into parts. I introduced this book on Palm Sunday because that's the marking point for the narrator, Palm Sunday. What happened on Palm Sunday? Okay, this action that happened on Palm Sunday, this is what led to it. So she took us to a time before Palm Sunday. What happened after Palm Sunday? So the book is just divided into parts, so zigzag format of narration, and it's really so beautiful. Kambili told the story in such a way that it's really nice. Her sense of imagery, her attention to detail was impeccable, and if I may say this, she has a sense of humor that she doesn't really quite know she had, because even though the story she was telling was really touching and sad, and it calls for attention, the way Kambili told the story, you find yourself just relaxed and just really enjoying her story. And this really makes Chimamanda a master storyteller because you can really feel it. You can almost taste the story in your mouth. It's such a beautiful book, and to think that this was her debut novel. This book was first published in the year 2003, And I just said to myself, I would really love to know what Chimamanda was thinking when she wrote this book. It's a masterpiece. It's a book for all ages. It's so beautiful. The book follows the life of Achike family. Compared to other Nigerian families, these people are actually rich. The father owned factories. The father owned his own media house. So he was rich. This man took it upon himself to do charity. So everyone loved him. He had the title, Omelora. He was really just a model citizen, driving the right speed limit, going to church with his family, not being swayed by the government or corrupt politicians, just following the right path of his Catholicism. But behind closed doors, this man is actually a psychopath, a monster, if I may add that. He was an extremist. So if you do not follow the way he has dictated how you should practice being a Catholic, that's his immediate family I'm talking about now, he is going to met out very serious punishment on you. There was a time he poured hot water on his daughter's leg. That's Camille. He beat up his wife that she had a miscarriage twice. So you see how bad things are. This man was is the head of the home, and he was just really brutal. He ruled the home with an iron fist in a way that he was so in control. He did not just want to lose reins of that control at all. And anything you do or say might lead to hellfire. So you have to do as he has told you. Do the way he act, the way he behaves. Nobody escaped it. His wife, his children. It was crazy. From an outsider's point of view, this man is perfect, because I can imagine Beatrice, who is the mother of Camille, telling friends, although she didn't have any friends in this book, but I just imagine she had friends and she was telling them that, oh, my husband, he's really not perfect. He's so and so, and her friends would have admonished her and say, what? We all dream to have a husband like yours. What are you saying? This man is perfect. He goes to church, he prays. So Eugene is like a model citizen for everyone else except for his family members. At home, in the family setting, there's just really this hush silence. Eating at the dining table, you can't really have a nice conversation with your family. It's just contributions, and it's just really intense. So Camille mentions a kind of language that she and her brother understand, where they just look at each other from the eye to the eye, and they understand each other, what each other is saying. So speaking with their eyes was something that they had to master, because of how they couldn't really exercise their free speech at all. But these two people had a breath of fresh air. I'm talking about Jaja and Camille now. When they went to their Auntie Ifoma's house in Nsukka. And Ifoma's house is not perfect at all. Auntie Ifoma was a university lecturer at Nsukka. She was living in staff quarters. And for a lecturer, she was actually poor. In other countries, lecturers actually have money, but in Nigeria, it's really hard on them. So we see that there's strike in the university. There's all sorts of riots in the university, and Auntie Ifoma is a single parent, and she's just trying to make ends meet. But when her nephew and niece came over, they got a breath of fresh air. So in the midst of that thing that's not even perfect, Jaja and Camille really appreciated it, because they got to see that things are not actually how it is. Things are not actually how it seems. You can actually have free speech, because they could see how their cousins spoke up, contributed, were living their life, were happy. And despite they were actually the ones that were rich, they could say that, okay, I want this for myself. I prefer this. I want this. Camille was surprised that people could actually have an opinion, like think for themselves. And that was the first time that Camille understood what it means to be a teenager, because she had a teenage crush with the Reverend Father in the chaplaincy, Father Madi. So it's just really a learning moment for the children, and just growing, living that kind of tense environment to a place of fresh air was something that was really important. And although the father protested, they were glad that the father actually agreed to allow them to go to Nsukka. Camille and Jada also have a grandfather that their father Eugene has said he's a heathen, so they shouldn't have anything to do with him. and all that kind of thing. I really, in as much as we like to chastise Eugene for his actions and his decisions, I would really love to hear the story from Eugene's point of view, because I would like to, because it was in from the book, from the story, we get to know that Eugene was actually had a encounter with missionaries when they came to his village. So that was where he got Christianity from. And his father actually said he regretted doing that because his son became something else. He became an extremist. And he had this white superiority complex in him. So I would really, really, really love to know what those people told him that made him so hard on himself. Because it was almost as if he was a psychopath. He would code switch when the white parish priest was around. Like, he would have this British intonation and all sort of things. It was just really him just trying to impress somebody by all means necessary, and he also wanted his family to do that too. There was just this compulsive need to be perfect, or you go to hellfire. So it was really, really intense, especially on the children. There are so many themes in this book that are really urgent and really important, and it's still relevant even today. There's a theme of abuse. The theme of abuse is like one of the most highlighted theme in this book because of how it really ran through the book. The abuse is not just between the partner who talks down on people and who hits his wife. No, it also spread to the children. And I'm making a case for this because it's something I'm really passionate about. I do not like it when people hit kids. And when I say this, it's because in a society like Nigeria, beating kids is a norm. People even say it's culture. People are bold enough to say that hitting kids is culture. So, and I had this argument. I even had an argument with a conversation with my friend about this morning, and people actually think it's okay to hit kids, and it's not. It's barbaric. It's the most barbaric thing on earth, because it's just so wrong. It's just so wrong hitting kids and beating them, because we can see how this really affected Jaja and Kamili. Really just stifling them, it really affected them. So when they got to see how things are, I'm not saying Auntie Fama doesn't hit her children, they do, but she does too. But I just want to make a case for hitting kids because I don't like it, and I think everyone should really adjust their mentality about that, hitting kids. So if you are an African and you're watching this, please think about it. Hitting kids makes no sense, and I would love to hear what you think in the comment section. But I just really think that we should do away with that mentality. It's not culture. There's no such thing as hitting kids, that it's culture. We just really glamorize some kind of things that makes no sense. So abuse, then abuse on partner, on your partner, it's so bad. Beatrice suffered 2 miscarriages, and she had to watch her children being abused as well. So it was really just a very toxic environment. And usually when he had finished doing this, he would start crying. So you just see how much of a psychopath he is, how he's really just really not okay, needed help in that book. But this kind of thing is something that people really brush aside. And he was a rich man. Who was going to tell him that, oh, you need therapy, or you need this, you need that, you need to adjust your mentality? No one was going to tell him that. They all wanted to just kiss his feet because he was a chef giver. So as long as they're having their money, and British did not even care about speaking up. Yes, Ifeoma knew about the abuse, and that will lead me to my second theme in this book. There is a theme of women empowerment in this book, because you see that Beatrice is Kamili's mother, putting her side by side with Ifeoma. Ifeoma is the sister to Eugene, her husband, who is Kamili's father. Eugene is the lecturer, like I said earlier, and she's enlightened. And you see that, okay, having an enlightened mother like that, it was projected on Amaka, her daughter. So Amaka was really a free thinker and always wanted to speak up for herself, ask questions, question the norm and all that. But Kamili was shy and withdrawn and just observing things, because she didn't really know what to do with information. She didn't think for herself. So That was it. Then putting the two women side by side and their offspring, you see that even when Ifeoma tries to advise Madam Beatrice that, okay, leave this marriage is hurting you and your kids, leave this marriage, leave my brother. And she'll be like, oh, you and your university talk, where will I go? You know, those kind of things that women feel that, okay, marriage is an achievement. A lot of women in African society believe that marriage is an achievement. Marriage is beautiful. Marriage is a beautiful union. It's something that it's so beautiful that you get to have another person on earth that you can lean on, that's your companion, that's your friend, that you love. It's such a beautiful thing. But it's not like a golden ticket to heaven. It's not a do or die affair. But when you find someone that you love, it's beautiful. So, but women take it like, oh my God, if I don't have a man with me, what am I going to do with myself? What am I going to do? I don't know if you understand my point. Because Beatrice was like, do you know how many women are throwing their daughters as a virgin? But in her head, she's happy that, okay, at least he won't cheat on me because he's an extremist. He's so religious, so he would not want to cheat on his wife. Then, but she can't leave. That she was like, oh, where will I go to? She didn't even have her own business. She didn't have any friends. She was just there. So the fact that women need to be educated more, because Beatrice was not even, from the way she spoke, from the way she talked to Ifeoma, oh, you're university degree talk, meaning she didn't go to university. So we need to really enlighten women. However, Beatrice showed resilience in this book later on, because the truth is, there's only so much you can take. And even though society will try to stifle you, society will try to break your wings, there is this thing about just wanting to survive, and it's either me or you, So I think it's better, because at a point, Beatrice started poisoning Eugene's tea, and I just feel like that could have been avoided, because her outrage, her anger, the way she expresses, it could have been avoided if only at the beginning they cured the cancer, or they cut out the cancerous cell, by just enlightening her and enlightening Eugene and giving Eugene the necessary help he needed. But that's the situation they found themselves, and it could have been avoided. But then we also have the theme of religious extremism, something that is really at play even till today. Like I said earlier, we can't really blame Eugene sometimes, because I just can't blame him too, because yes, he was like a monster in this book, but we can't really entirely blame him, because in the society to today, we still see drops of extremism one way or the other around us. Eugene was one of those people that, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, any other way is wrong, any other ways you are going to hell, just judging, and trying to play God. Like my Nigerian brothers and sisters would say, Assistant Jesus. He was really just trying to play God most of the time. Oh, you sinned, okay, I'm going to punish you. Who does that? That's what people always do too in society. Oh, you're putting on trousers to church. Oh, meanwhile in the Vatican, they actually put on trousers to church. Oh, they decide to embarrass you as a way of punishment, so you don't do it again. There's extremism everywhere, one way or the other, and we have to deal with it, or we have to unlearn it. We have to really unlearn a lot of things, because it is really bad to the extent that people begin to blame religion for all sorts of things. Meanwhile, it's just really how human beings have decided to interpret it to suit their own selfishness. That's just it. That's just a simple thing. There's so many things in this book that I can go on and on. So many things in this book. Talk about corruption in Nigeria. Talk about so many beautiful things in this book alone. This book is a national treasure. I kid you not. And if you have not read it yet, what are you waiting for? I'd warn you, there's a lot of play of Igbo words in the book, but it doesn't matter. You'll be able to follow through easily. Words like one, words like undo, just some Igbo words are in the book, because Chimamanda is from the Igbo tribe. So yeah. What if you have read this book? Who is your favorite character in the book? Mine is Kambili. Years ago, I wouldn't have said Kambili. Maybe I don't know what I've said, but I really like Kambili because I really like Kambili. Kambili is my favorite character in this book. Who's your favorite character? And what you think of this book? Please let me know in the comment section. I'm currently reading Legend Born, and I will give you a review next. So please stay tuned to this channel because I'm going to be having a lot of book reviews, book discussions, just everything bookish, everything nice, everything books. So please stay tuned to this channel. Don't forget to follow me on social media and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Until next time, do take good care of yourself. Okay, bye.